Welcome in, everybody. I know everyone's probably like, "Where's John?" Don't worry, he's here. But guess who's running the show today, everyone? The Kronk Beauty herself. Welcome in. Hello, hello. Whatever you've got to drink, please bring them on in. Hopefully, you all have your Prexin ciders or waters ready. Hi. Everyone's like, "Oh my God." And hello to my replay crew, whoever's watching this after we are not live. Today, we are focusing on the one and only Sandra Birchmore, which, if you know me, I am very excited to speak about Sandra's case and amplify her voice as best as I can. So today we are jam-packed. If you watched on Friday, there was a whole 1-hour episode of Dateline featuring Sandra's case. We got to see new interviews. We got to know more things that we haven't heard before. So I am thrilled to be speaking about that today. First, though, let me bring up my two fabulous co-hosts, the one, the only, Mr. Jonathan Camo.
Hello, Booze.
We need one of the sound things. And also our friend, Eric. Still don't know how to pronounce his name.
That was close. How are you, Boozy? John?
Listen, I am really excited to be speaking about Sandra's case today, just because I feel like with everything else going on in the world, that sometimes the local cases tend to get forgotten about. And there's one thing that we're going to be sure is not forgotten about is Sandra's name. I am so excited to bring up Barbara Wright. I'm sure you all, if you've been on the YouTube sphere before, you have seen her speaking about Sandra. And Barb, you are Sandra's cousin, correct?
Yes. Technically, I'm her mother's cousin. So
gotcha. Yeah.
Cousin.
Yeah. And it was nice coming from the Dateline. We got to see a lot of interviews from not only you, Barb, but also so much of Sandra's family, which was really nice to see. And we'll get over that in a little bit, because I love hearing as much as we can about Sandra and humanizing her outside of what the case is.
I agree. Yes.
And of course, the one, the only, Miz Justice for Sandra Birchmore Facebook page. If you guys don't follow the page, please do so now, because we need to get more people on there. So or follow on Twitter and your YouTube. You're on everything, right? TikTok.
Yep. Everywhere.
Everywhere. Oh, that's right. And the website too. Yeah. John, I don't know if you can put that up in the scrolly thing. Someone asking where John's face is.
Mizzy, if you text it to me, I can put it up.
Yep, I'll text it right now.
Justice for SandraBirchmore.com, right?
Oh, is that all it is? I can do that.
Yeah. They made it real easy for all of us. So, in chat, hi everyone. I just want to ask, who got to watch the Dateline episode? Did you guys see it yet? Were you able to see it? Don't worry if not. We're going to go over everything. I have plenty of notes. We have plenty of photos. Unfortunately, because of copyright issues, we have to limit the videos, because otherwise we may get a copyright strike. So we have to limit on what we play over here, unfortunately. And Barb is like, okay, bye. So, Barb, if you're still with us, I do want to get started with just like the basics of who Sandra Birchmore is, or if Mizzy wants to get started, just so we can hear from someone other than us.
Yeah, I think it looks like Barb got booted. So
no, she's in there. I think she just might have I don't know why her screen's off, but no, she's still on there. Oh, she entered the studio again.
I'll talk about her for a second while she's trying to figure things out. Thank you for having us on. I always enjoy coming on the show. I said to John today, I like it because I get to talk a little bit, relax a little bit when I come on and talk to you guys. So I can, but Sandra was just a young woman who, there's Barb. Let her take over.
My connection just blipped out on me. Great timing.
Of course.
Glad you're back.
Thank you.
So Barb, I'm just gonna ask you, what was your favorite thing about Sandra?
Her energy.
Oh,
She had tons and tons and tons of energy. Yeah. Yeah.
We heard that a lot when it came to the various family members and cousins that came on to the Dateline episode, that if there was one thing that they would remember most about Sandra is that she was just so vivacious and just so like out there, right? Like I can imagine her almost being like entering the room and being like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" You know, just being so out there and boisterous.
Yeah.
Which I love to hear, because I think we kind of can get lost in the bad of it all, when in reality, like I feel like she was such an amazing young woman that tends to get forgotten and when it comes to like the muck of the case. So for those of you who don't know, just a little rundown of like the basics of Sandra Birchmore. She was a 23-year-old teacher's assistant, and she was in the Stoughton district, right? Sharon district. Okay, perfect. Thank you for correcting me on that. That's also not something they covered on Dateline, by the way. So thank you for correcting that. And so just like the basics, she was 4'10", like a cute little itty bitty. But do you know what they say about us shorties? Be careful of us, because we're little fireballs. We tend to be a little bit out there, right? So let's go back to like her childhood and how she was growing up as a kid. Like, I'm sure, Barb, you spent plenty of time with Miss Birchmore. How would you say her childhood was like growing up, and maybe touch upon her mother, Denise, a little bit?
Well, she was feisty. We were at a family cookout, and I accidentally called her Sandy. And she looked at me, she stomped her feet, and she made a couple of fists, and she goes, "Don't call me Sandy, call me Sandra."
So
I'm like,
cute.
Okay.
She's so pretty. I can just imagine her being like, "Excuse me." How old was she when that happened, by the way?
When what happened?
When she did the little "Don't call me Sandy."
She was about 6 or 7. Yeah.
So she was probably like a little peanut, like a little peanut.
Yeah. She was,
yeah. And we actually, on the Dateline episode, got to see an interview from Sandra's martial arts instructor. That was amazing to see too, because I don't think anyone has known that at 11 years old, she was fighting boys, literally.
Yeah.
And a little tidbit that I like to hear of that is that this martial arts company is directly across the street from Stoughton PD.
Yep. Right.
How incredible is that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, she was just always spending time around that area, right?
Yeah.
And also, so she did that at 11 years old, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Barb, did you get to see her fight any boys at all in martial arts?
No, I would remember that. No. But he said the same thing to me. I had the pleasure of meeting him. I forget his name now, but
Michael.
And he said the same thing to me that he said on Dateline, that she always had a smile on her face, no matter what was going on in her life. She did not want to, make other people feel bad. So, she always had a smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She seemed just like, as I would explain, like a trooper. You know, she would just kind of take things, just go, okay. You know, it is what it is in a bit.
Yeah.
He said that it seemed like she was always having a blast, always had a smile on her face. And then later on, at 13 years old, when she joined the Explorers program, which I'm sure most of us know from the story, that was across the street at Stoughton PD. And he would actually go outside or look out the windows and see Sandra there. And he said, quote, that it looked like she was always having a good time with all the other kids. Yeah. Which is funny.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So as you're bringing everybody up to speed, on Sandra. Barb, do you think that that Dateline captured who she really was?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think they did. Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
They managed to pack a lot of information in a short amount of time. It was pretty amazing. It wasn't enough. I wish they had put more in there, and including
Like what?
Mizzy,
Like what?
like Mizzy
Okay.
and our group, and how it got started, and all the work that she did getting it started. Because in the very, very beginning, the early days, I was working full time as a book editor, and we were on deadline, and I did not have time, and I didn't even know how to do it. I didn't even know what a FOIA request was. She's telling me about a FOIA request. I had to look it up. What is a FOIA request? So she really took the helm and got things going. So I wish they talked about that more. Hopefully they will in the future when they do the 2 hour, if they do the 2 hour. So we'll see.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I think so. So you're telling us there may be another episode, Barb.
there may be
Fingers crossed.
A 2 hour.
a 2 hour. Yes.
That'd be so exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're going to wait till after the hearing, the trial, or whatever transpires with that. So, but another thing about Sandra, and the reason that she had the attitude she did, was because her mother was chronically ill. She was in and out of the hospital with asthma all the time. She had heart problems. She had diabetes. She had a number of things. And Sandra pretty much took care of her mother a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She had to grow up really fast because of that.
And because she was a single mother, right, Denise?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a whole nother layer to Sandra's story too, is that, you know, when you do have a single parent, coming from me who also had something similar in her life, you know, you do have to grow up very, very quickly and figure life out very quickly.
I was told by a family member that Sandra was more comfortable with the adults than she was the kids. Like there was a time when, you know, at a family cookout, like kind of like what Barb was saying, you know, that the adult said, "Hey, Sandra," you know, kind of said, "Scoop, adults here." And she didn't want to leave. She wanted to sit with the adults. And she's like, "No, go play with the kids." And she felt like that Sandra was more comfortable talking to the adults, which kind of dovetails into what happened, because these men came into her life and she felt comfortable around adults instead of children.
Yeah.
And she was also bullied, so that would make sense too also.
Bullied terribly in school. Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so it just seems like it's a big cyclone of the family life, of things going on at school, and it just kind of snowballs into, dare I say, almost a perfect storm for her to fall into, you know, men's hands the way that it happened.
There's also another little tidbit to that. Her grandfather passed away right before she joined the Explorers program, and she didn't have a father in her life. So he was like the main father figure in, you know, male father figure in her life, and he was gone. So that made her even more susceptible to these men, because she wanted a father figure or a male figure in her life. And these guys probably write it all on her face, you know?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And also too, when you come from, you know, a single parent household, you know, you can kind of be fighting for attention, and now looking back upon it, you know, you kind of feel bad for the parental figure, but at the same time, as a child, you're trying to fight for the attention, but there's a job to do, there's a child to deal with, there's homes and activities, especially as they get older. And, you know, it like I said, it's almost like, you know, he stepped in, and dare I say the name, Farwell stepped in at a time where she needed a little bit more help, and he absolutely took advantage of that.
Yes, he did.
All three of them did, but yes, most was Farwell, you know, Matthew.
Right. You know what? And let's start into that topic, since, you know, that's where we're leading to anyways. As much as I don't want to talk about him or them, they are the reason why everything happened, unfortunately. So she joined the Explorers program at Stoughton Police Department at the year 13 years old, and she went through it pretty much until high school graduation. Right? Was she graduating? She was still in the program.
In high school?
Yeah, as she was graduating, I think you have to leave the program once you graduate.
Right. Right. Which is interesting because then after that, she stated that she wanted to become a police officer or potentially go into the military. And she was kind of trying to like weave out like, what do I want to do more? Because she did like five years into the Explorers program. And that consisted of, boot camp drills, ride-alongs, one-on-one time with officers. It's just, it seemed like because she was such kind of like a go-getter, maybe she felt like she didn't have someone to lean on all the time, and she kind of wanted to make that life for herself, and be like, you know what, if the boys can do it, why can't I too? Right.
Also, she was a very helpful person. She wanted to be like Sandra. There are a lot of reports from Stoughton of her interaction with the police, and a lot of them are where she would be in a store and she would see a shoplifter and she would volunteer to step up and write the report to be a witness. Like her friend was getting bullied and she stood up for her friend and like went to the police with them. Just like she was one of those people who wanted to help other people. That's why she wanted to go into policing. She wanted to go into the military. She did, but she actually had to leave because she was an asthmatic. And then what her future was going to be a nurse. So all of these, you see this young woman who just wanted to be able to help people and be part of a community and be like a good person to the community, not just like be somebody who's existing, be a person that the community could rely on. That's what Sandra wanted to do.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely a go-getter type of personality.
Yeah.
Don't step in her way, right?
Absolutely.
Even
don't call her Sandy.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and she was really, really smart too. Like I have had so many people tell me how smart she was. One of her cousins told me that he would like her. They used to butt heads, and he would say he couldn't believe how smart she was, and he even said she's smarter than I am. And if you know this person, it's hard for this person to admit. So she was such a smart person that would have had such a great future and would have been contributed to our society so much. And it's so sad that, our society doesn't have Sandra Birchmore in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially too, to find an interest at 13 years old and to stick with that throughout high school is incredible, because you think of those teenage years, especially as a young girl. Barb and Mizzy, we are always flooding around like, I want to do this. No, I want to do this. No, I want to do that. And Barb's like,
yeah. I can't tell you how many careers and jobs I've had.
Yeah. Same, Barb.
I was the same way at a young age. It was every 3 to 5 years I had to move on to the next thing.
That's right. Yeah.
But the thing about young girls, Jonathan, when puberty hits, our life goes. So it's honorable for Sandra to pick something and go, no, this is what I want to do with my life. Even though she pivoted, like Mizzy said, she still wanted to be that caring and helping out in whatever way that she could.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And also too, nursing is not easy. Nursing is really hard.
No, I know.
All my healthcare workers, right, guys, in chat.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for us, since we're talking about Stoughton PD, to talk about Donna McNamara, the Stoughton Police Department chief. This was, if you all didn't see, or if you don't know, the very first time that McNamara was actually speaking to media. The only other time, I feel like, and Mizzy, you can correct me, only other time that we've seen her really speak out was her press conference. Like, she's never really spoken to me.
One other time was when he got arrested.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So she has been very very like moot on the situation. I can understand in some ways. In other ways, I'm kind of like, oh, okay. So it was interesting to see her come out and actually speak. So I do want to give her a couple of applaud moments before we really start talking about McNamara. I think, firstly, it's hugely important that, yes, she saw something going on and she called it out and started internal affairs investigation, especially considering what we've seen within the Massachusetts State Police and the Canton PD, as well as other PDs around Massachusetts.
But there was so many other things that have gone on in that department for her to not know this. I mean, it wasn't Rob Devine's first rodeo.
Not at all.
No,
right? No, but that's why I
everything's
said,
right under her.
John, before we rip into him,
I know.
just want to give her the two little things that she deserves, okay?
Yeah.
Because you all know, I don't give any of them credit.
I just don't see how you can, because you should know what the majority of your staff are doing.
Well, let me banter back with this. Did Ken Berkowitz ever do an internal affairs investigation in Canton? No.
No, I know there was an investigation that he tipped off one of his own officers that he was being investigated. so yeah, I mean,
you see what I mean? And,
yeah.
and we could argue that Rafferty or Berkowitz should have done an internal affairs investigation into Canton, even if it wasn't about O'Keefe, but also Birchmore. Right. Both cases should have tipped them off. Both of them.
Yeah, both of them.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, there was so much that Stoughton and Canton, and don't even get me on Massachusetts State Police, that did wrong.
Richie, we know. I mean, Richie's from Stoughton. He knows all the different things that have gone. I mean, that's Richie. There's probably 5, 6, 7 things that have gone on over there in Stoughton. How did she get the job to begin with? Because the prior chief, right? I mean, we all,
Yeah. So I do want to give her the props that A, she started the internal affairs investigation. She did look into it. And B, she's working with the feds. She also didn't have to do that either, because that's something also we heard about Canton in O'Keefe's investigation with the feds. So we will give her credit where credit is due. However, like you said, I don't understand how you can A, be the chief, B, be in the department for so long, and C, also have such a background with Divine and not clock these things.
Especially he was once the deputy police chief.
Exactly. And also too, just coming from like a woman's perspective, you can tell when a man is a quote unquote creep. You can tell when something is going wrong. It is very obvious. And the fact that she literally said, and I quote, all her quotes made me really pissed off. I'm just going to say right now. Where is it? Where is it? Oh my God. I don't know where it is. What was I saying? But literally stating that Sandra A had a troubled childhood growing up, that she then went into details about calls that she went to Sandra's house on several occasions, which almost painted Sandra in a certain light. And yes, you need to know the truth of what's going on, but the way that McNamara painted it was almost in a way that she said she wasn't surprised by the medical examiner's report findings because of these calls. And instead of looking into it more and looking into her officers and knowing what the Massachusetts State Police said to her about it, she just kind of sloughed it off. Like, it was like, oh, that makes sense because of that. And just like went about like her life until
that stems from, part of it stems from, it was in the show about, there was, when the family home was being sold, after her mom had passed away and her aunt, both of her aunts had passed away. I mean, her Nana and one of her aunts passed away. Yeah. She was told that the house was being sold. There was a huge argument, and I don't know exactly what was said, but it was alluded to that she said that she was going to unalive herself.
Yeah,
And
Sandra
shoot
talked
her
to me about that. She told me about the whole thing, and she
Yeah.
said she just got mad and wanted to get back at her auntie. She was angry with her and just wanted to, just said it out of anger and didn't realize, the brevity.
What happens when
When you say that stuff like that, she
Right.
didn't think about it. She was
And
angry.
then the police came and the police were called and they went to, they were confronting her to try to get her to get in the car with them. And she didn't want to talk to one of the officers, which made me suspicious. I talked to Peter Murphy about this call because I had to be talked down. I had to call him and be talked down when I read this report. He said they took her in because of what was said. They couldn't have her on the streets and not take her in because if she was suicidal, they had to make sure that they did everything they could so she wouldn't do that, which I said, okay, I get that. Yeah. But that's one of the things. I guess there were a couple other things that happened, and she was at the Stoughton Police Department a lot.
Yeah.
Aside from, the Explorers program. So they kind of knew.
Well,
her.
Was it aside or was it before?
Before what?
The Explorer. Like, was she at the station before the Explorers program? And that's how McNamara was familiar with her, or was it at the same time as the Explorers program?
Same time. This took place in 2020. This incident that I'm talking about. But they knew her from the Explorers. She was there a lot because of the Explorers, because she knew them and she had more access. She had more access than a normal kid would have to the police station. Yeah. And just the calls with her mom. So it was a lot of things like that. But and Sandra did have some mental health issues, but she was being treated for them.
Right.
So it wasn't like, what they're going to try to say when this goes to trial. Yeah. They're going to try to make her sound like she was off her rocker. She was trying to do this every week. And that's how they're going to try to portray her. It wasn't like that. She was a young woman who was getting counseling and just like many of us Americans who go and seek a counselor or a therapist. So,
Right. And this is what she said. I found the quote that she immediately recognized Sandra's name when they got the call in about the unaliving, we say on TikTok, due to the Mizzy. So McNamara said, I immediately recognized Sandra's name due to the Explorer program, and I would often see her around the station. But then it was later on where she went into more detail about it, where she went on many calls to Sandra's house. And, she had quote unquote rocky teen years, fighting with her mom, never physical, verbal owing, verbal fights only. However, they just didn't see eye to eye growing up, and that's where she kind of ends it there. And that was pretty much it, other than the call you just spoke about, Mizzy. Yeah. Which again makes me question, if she was always around and things were going on, why wasn't this looked into more? It was right in front of you guys. It was right there. And you just put a blind eye. It's like, I just don't understand.
How often do police investigate themselves?
Too much.
9.
But I get what I kind of get what you're trying to.
1% of the time. Yeah. Good question.
My thing is kind of like along with what you're saying. Why did it take her being dead for them to find out something was going on? Especially since Divine had a reputation of having all kinds of teenage girls in there from back in 2002 when he was an SRO officer. So they knew he was a creep. I don't know. I don't even know how he was able to move up and become the deputy chief. And I mean, like, he was.
Well, he was the deputy chief. He was the deputy chief when the issue with the infidelity came about.
Yes.
He was already deputy chief at that point.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't
But
know.
he climbed the ladder. You know, he
Yeah.
and they allow
A lot of
it.
them do. A lot of
And
them
they-
do.
Mm-hmm.
They, instead of, and this is a question that the public needs answers to. Why wasn't he fired with the other scandal?
Yeah.
Why did because
Unions.
Shastani,
Mm-hmm.
it was the town. It was the town that didn't fire him. And they made some sort of deal with the town to demote
He got
him.
booted down to patrolman. Yep, and worked his way back up. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's
Yeah.
like that whole situation needs to be looked into.
Well,
Right.
Speaking of him, the chief recommended that they were permanently decertified. Barb, as a family member, what does that mean to you? Because Rob, they all, according to Dateline, they all retired willingly. You know, they all retired, and he wants to stay certified. What's that mean to you, knowing that this guy is still trying to stay certified?
It's ridiculous to me. I mean, and he's a practicing lawyer now, not far from where I live. It's
Oh, did he pass the bar?
He did,
He did,
and I
yeah.
wrote them. I wrote them, and they said, "What are you doing about this?" I heard back. It's called the Massachusetts Bar of Overseers, and investigator wrote me back, and she said, "I'm watching him." So hopefully they're watching him.
Mhm.
He thinks he's going to get away with it again this time. He got away with it before. He's going to get away with it again. And you know, decertification, it sounds really good, but they can go somewhere else and get a job in police work in another state. It really is up to the state whether or not they want to follow Massachusetts' recommendation. Every police station can make their own decision on that, depending on the state. So it doesn't really mean that much.
Right.
Especially
Right.
with William in wherever he's living. What is it, Arizona?
New Mexico.
New Mexico and Arizona National Guard. Okay,
Yeah.
I get them mixed up in my head. But yeah, it's
Yeah, well, it's like you said, he got away with it once. Why can't he do it again? And
he thinks he's gonna. He really
right, and you know, it's like he has the history of it, but also too, you look at something we're also dealing with. It's the Proctor situation. You know, they have the union lawyers, and they're there to get their jobs back.
Yeah.
No matter what they do.
yeah.
No matter what they do.
That's why you pay in every week.
It's
And
ridiculous.
I'm a union person. I was raised on both my parents were union members.
My
but
dad was. Yeah.
Police unions are just too powerful. They are just too powerful, and it ends up being a safety issue for the public because they fight for officers to get back on the force who should not have a badge and a gun.
And to touch back on the chief really quick, McNamara, one thing that really kind of twisted my gears a little bit is when she was asked about calling Farwell a predator or not. And I'm sure you guys may have saw this, but she looked very uncomfortable with the question. She almost kind of went into like a shell a little bit and did not want to admit or say the word predator when speaking about Matthew Farwell, which, hello, if it quacks like a duck and it walks like a duck, it's probably a duck, quack, quack. But
It is. Yeah.
she did say that if Sandra was alive, that there would be aggravated statutory rape charges on Farwell, and that, quote, he controlled her, he was grooming her, it was abuse at the worst level, end quote. But still did not feel confident in calling him, for what he was, a predator. A sexual abuser.
Do you want to hear from her? Booze?
Sure.
All right, let's hear from McNamera.
The system failed Sandra Birchmore.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know how to answer that. But preliminary from the outside, it does look that way.
Her death is ruled a suicide, which is now in question. Why was it ruled so quickly?
When you put it all together, it is a failure in maybe many areas. And we are hopefully working towards justice for her.
Couldn't even admit that the
Yeah.
system failed Sandra.
She looked really uncomfortable, blinking her eyes a lot, her face.
But you also got to understand, there's still a lawsuit hanging over her head.
That's right.
So I'm surprised she did this. I'm surprised she spoke as much.
I am
Well,
too.
look at Dever, how uncomfortable she was just trying to answer yes or no questions to were they monitors in the room you were sitting in?
Yeah.
They're all afraid to answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
We put these people in we put our trust in these people, right? To serve and to protect. I don't see a lot of protecting going on. I see a lot of self-serving, and they're making a lot of money, but I don't see a lot of protecting going on. And they're so quick because of the blue wall. That's who they protect. They protect each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can even see in chat people going, hopefully, yeah, hopefully. And something else I want to touch upon too, which is something that also kind of grinded my gears a little bit. If there's something that we're okay with over here on the Canton Chronicle, as our Krongs know, it's naming names.
Uh-oh. I forgot to put a disclaimer out that we did no show prep tonight, so I have no clue on what Boozy is going to say.
We're just naming names. We're just
I know. You're just making me nervous.
Because here's the deal.
Let it fly, Boozy. Let it fly.
Oh, let it fly! All right.
Oh, geez. Here we go.
Unfortunately, if you see my TikTok, you already know how I feel about these individuals.
I'm taking acid right now.
Here's the deal. Unfortunately, when it comes to cases like Sandra's, what they want to do is let it swept under the rug. And that's something that we see this entire case with Sandra. The medical examiner's report. That's it. Wipe our hands of it. The DA's office. Right. Nope, that's it. Go look at the feds now. None of them want to talk about it. And even in Dateline, they couldn't say names. And I tweeted about this. Did you see that, Barb?
I did. Yeah.
Barb, you follow Boozy?
Yeah. So here's
good.
Good.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
She followed me.
I noticed they didn't say any names. They didn't say Morrissey. They didn't say, they didn't say anything.
Did they say anyone from the town of Canton?
So here's the thing. The only they didn't, and from the district attorney's office, no names. Like Barb said, no Morrissey, no one. From the Massachusetts State Police, the only name they named was John Fanning, which is very interesting. I found that
Fanning. Oh.
Nah, we'll keep that in the back of our.
Don't get me going on Fanning.
Oh, that's Boozy's
favorite. I'll talk about Fanning.
That's Mizzy's favorite person to talk about.
Let's talk about.
She's
got stories.
We'll get into it.
He's got some good ones.
Yeah, and he's still employed too, mother trucker. From Canton PD, they named no names. No names.
But they played the audio.
They played a tiny little clip. They didn't say the officer's name, and they just said Sandra's aunt.
And Mizzy, you pointed out something about that clip, that about the Canton clip, right? Today we talked. Mizzy and I talked today. It was the family. The police didn't call
right.
the family. Go ahead, Mizzy.
Yeah, her aunt called there because they were also looking worried about Sandra because they hadn't been able to get in touch with her.
Yeah, because she constantly communicated. Constantly. Yeah. She never put her phone down. Let's just put it that way. It was another arm. We called it her other arm. It was just, constant. Yeah. So, I can imagine they were very worried.
Yeah, because Dateline reported, and I wrote this down and I bolded it and italicized, and I'm like, that is not what I've heard Mizzy and Barb say before. They literally reported that Canton PD called her aunt.
No.
No.
Because if somebody from Canton PD had called her, it wouldn't have been the officer who was running the front who answered. It wouldn't have been Nix. He's not. He wasn't part of. It would have been Lank who would have called her, or it would have been somebody higher like Rafferty or what's his face? The other guy who just Gallagher. It would have been somebody
Gallagher.
like that who called her. Not. It wouldn't have been Nix who answered the phone.
No.
Right. And also think about it too. If we think about other situations when, officers, even in like the Karen Reed trial, when you were talking about the different like positions and higher ups, whatever, it is such a small town. It's not a large police force. Murder isn't a normal thing in Canton, although they had 2 really big ones in like the matter of a year. So you would think that an upper, at minimum, Gallagher, at minimum, not the chief would call, because again, it's not a normal thing in the town.
Well, Canton was very top heavy for a number of years of, deputy police, chief and deputy chiefs, and they're slowly now getting back to more even, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And regarding that phone call it was Officer Nix from Canton and Sandra's aunt, I noticed they played a very selective part of the call. That was mainly him at the very end of it. That's made him seem like he was very apologetic. And it's
pathetic.
I have a question on that too.
Yeah.
I got a question. Who did Canton Police call when they wanted to notify the family of her passing? I'm just wondering, was it a local family member?
She's local, but not down there anymore. She was from.
Okay.
They used to live together in Stoughton, but she's up.
So they couldn't send an officer over to talk to someone in Stoughton. They made a phone call.
Well, she was in New Hampshire at the time.
There was no one.
That was my question. Okay.
Yeah, there was nobody there by that.
Okay, so that's fine. Yeah.
They could have called the town, and sent an officer over, or set up. We're living. Look at all 5 of us. We're on a. You can do it on a Zoom or a StreamYard or whatever you want to set up. They could have done it that way. They should not have had Officer Nix doing this notification, because
Absolutely not.
If you listen to the whole clip, he was just how he said
Very matter of fact.
unalived herself, like Barb just said, so matter of fact and so like uncaring. And I think once she started, because if you hear that clip, you could tell she's crying. That's when he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
I will say that there was a part in that audio clip that whoever said this did sound concerned, where he said, "If her car is there, we've got to go in."
Yeah, that was, I believe, that was Lank, I believe, on that call with. It was probably, I don't know which officer.
Whoever said, whoever said, "Hey, if her car is there, you got to go in," and
that was
give him. All right, well, look at that. I'm giving Lank some credit there.
Oh, so you're talking about when the officers went to do the
wellness check. Yes, when they went to go do the wellness check, they played that clip on Dateline where they said, if her car's there, then you got to go in. And they looked and they saw her car, so that's why they went in.
Oh yeah, because they were just gonna leave. That's gonna be like, well, maybe it's just nothing. And then that was, like you said, believe it was Lank. That was like, hey, no, like we kind of do a little more investigating.
Yeah, because you wanted them to check to see if there was snow on her car too.
Right.
Somebody's saying the school principal wasn't even allowed to say Sharon, neighboring town. What? So is it?
She's not working for them anymore. She's moved on.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that was actually the vice principal.
It was vice president. Yeah, vice president. Cheryl Carlson.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to point this out too, that I think it is so incredible that we've got so many new interviews, but also what everyone said about Sandra, how you all advocate for her, and it just goes to show just how strong and close knit of a family you guys were then, and also now still to this day, because you can tell the passion from every single one of you. And also, dare I say, did you guys notice that it was all women speaking up for Sandra?
Well, we have a lot of strong women in this family. I'll tell you what.
So
Yeah.
I have a question, and I asked Mizzy this question earlier today. So somebody's asking, have any other victims come forward? And I remember on that Dateline that the question was asked of McNamara if there were any other victims in the Explorers program, and she said no. But that doesn't mean there's not other victims. Maybe I don't know. So it's just weird that we know that there's other people that have been involved with the police department. Is it just that they weren't in the Explorers program? Mizzy?
Possibly, but also I said to you this afternoon, I've spoken to a couple parents of children who were in the program and people who were in the program, and they were never spoken to. And
they were never interviewed.
They were never interviewed
by any law enforcement.
Up to when I saw them, no law enforcement. And some of them might have been interviewed by the FBI. I'm not sure about that, but they weren't interviewed, especially for this. And that's been one of my biggest issues, that every child, it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl, should have been sat down and been interviewed. And if there are any children who are no longer with us, those people should be investigated, because people who are groomed go on to some people, especially if they don't get help, they go on to have issues. Some people end up with drug issues and self-soothing issues.
They self-medicate. Yep.
Yes. Alcoholics become hypersexual, and some people go on to unalive themselves.
Yep.
So if there are other children who went through that program who unalive themselves or OD'd, their family needs to be talked to. Their friends need to be talked to find out if they ever spoke up and said something happened with these men.
Right.
And I know for a fact that there are parents and children that were never interviewed that went through this program. From 2002 to 2016, every child, because just because you're a boy doesn't mean nothing happened to you.
That's right.
Or they might have saw something that as a child they wouldn't recognize, but now as a parent or an adult, they might be like, oh, I saw something. And I know one of her friends who,
Kindred Spirit brings up a good comment. 3 and only 1 victim. You have all these officers and yet only 1 victim, and this is over the course of years. And now Karen D is also saying there
was another girl groomed, but 10-year period. So within a 10-year period, there was no other children.
Right.
Should be 25 or 26 now, because she was 23. Yeah. It's been 3 years, right?
4.
3 years?
4
years. 4 years. Yeah.
It's almost 5.
4 years.
Yeah. It'll be 5 in February.
I mean, just think about the inappropriate behavior, that the way that he was like, oh, let me help you with your homework and let's go to the library together. It's like, let's be Facebook friends. How inappropriate is that? Like, yeah, cool. Let's DM.
How do you
oh my gosh.
I'm asking these questions because, I'm, as a male, I shouldn't even be qualified to be in this chat other than to listen to everyone. but you had multiple officers that were exploiting her. How can you like process it?
That's why I don't believe McNamara when she says she was completely clueless and blindsided by all of this. I don't believe
That it
it.
was only one, but it was multiple. Right, it was multiple officers.
Yeah, I don't believe for one second. Not for a women's intuition. If she's a mother, even if you're not, I'm not a mother, but I know if someone's being mean to my dogs, I clock that real quick. Like you just notice things, you know. And for her to try to play it off like she didn't.
There are 5 people that we know of that are involved in this case. It's the 2 Farwell, Matthew and William Farwell, Robert Devine, and Joshua Heel, who wasn't a police officer at the time. He was a animal control officer. His stuff was 100% as when Sandra was an adult. McNamara said on Dateline that there was nothing with William and Devine when Sandra was a child. We don't know. We'll take her word for it. Because I have never seen any proof that it happened before when she was a child. But there was also an Army recruiter. And we also got to understand that what it was said in the show, that William was making her take photos and videos and send to him. And it wasn't just, it was said that it was of her. Yes, it was of her with men. Mm-hmm. That's what came out in the civil case. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, the family's lawyer said, sorry, Bobby, that you have to hear me say this. They passed her around like a toy. Mm-hmm. That's what he said.
All right, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. So,
Bob, did you ever see a change in her, like just her emotions or her? So she hit it well.
She hit it very well. Yeah.
But that's what grooming is.
Yep.
Right.
When you're groomed, that you are conditioned. You know, it's the coercive control. I cannot say the word today. Coercive where it's like how a domestic violence person is. They learn how to act in public so nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes. You know, that's why grooming is it's not something that happens overnight. It's not like a child that's just abused overnight. It's a slow burn. They slowly, if you read the FBI report, you know, he was very kind and nice to her. And then he started helping her with the homework and going to the library and give her rides home and, you know, being this knight in shining armor. And then he took a while and friend requested her. And then it kept going on, you know, that's how grooming is. That's why groomers have such a way of being able to have things hidden, because they get this child to think everything is okay. This is how it is.
Yeah.
And then they get the child's trust. And then they're also saying, you know, if you tell anybody about our friendship, we're not going to be able to be friends anymore.
That's the first red flag right there.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what grooming is. And it's not just the child that gets groomed. And I'm not saying Sandra, I'm saying in general, it's not just a child that gets groomed. It's the family that gets groomed. I mean, so much so, Sandra's mom wrote Robert Devine a letter thanking him so much for giving her a place to belong and giving her a place to be. She loves the program.
And that just gives him more power.
Yes.
Because he knows he's pulling one over.
Oh, he definitely. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Allegedly. I think we have to say allegedly.
Let's talk about intuition here. I mean, when I lived in Seattle at the time all this took place. But Sandra and I used to talk like sometimes several times a day, sometimes once or twice. It depends on, you know, the day of the week. But I knew something was wrong. I knew something was up. And she was just starting to open up to me. And we ran out of time, you know, before I could get her to tell me, you know, what was going on. I was surprised that she told my cousins the first name of who she thought the father of the baby was, because she wouldn't tell me. She just called him the married guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
married guy. So,
So when they sat you down for the interviews at Dateline, did they give you any kind of heads up in which direction that they were going to be going, or was it just one of those just person right across from you, and they're just filming?
the one thing that I remember the most is that they wanted to do it chronologically. So I kept bouncing all over the place. So it was a long day, and I'm not
Mhm.
a spring chicken. So, you know, I was getting really tired, but they had to keep reeling me in and saying, okay, wait a minute, go back to this date and talk about that. So they were very strict on that. But they, and I believe that's where they brought Donna McNamara too, was Endicott Estates up in Denham.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wanted to stop talking and start walking around. So gorgeous. And it's just a beautiful place. And but it was quite the experience. I was very nervous. I was extremely. I was like out of body experience nervous. You know what I mean? It was just like
Mhm.
I've been a fan for a while, and I admire Andrea Canning and what she does. I mean, she's a mom. She has 5 girls and a boy, so she's got 6 kids, and she does what she does. That's pretty amazing. And
Are you
yeah,
happy
across
with?
from Andrea Canning, and I'm like, oh my god, oh my god.
Are you happy with how it turned out?
Barb, you did great. You look so good.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
I was
I thought the whole thing came across really well. I just, like you said early, when you said early on, you wished that there was more to cover, but you also let us know that there's going to be a longer show
Yeah.
coming. So
hope-
maybe
yeah.
they will hit into some of the other stuff
Okay.
that they didn't get into.
Yeah. And it for me, it's very healing to talk about Sandra. It helps me a lot, and the support that we've gotten is unbelievable. It really holds me up. People that come out to the standouts, and they stand out in the rain and the snow. It's just, I don't want to cry, but it's amazing. You
Yeah.
know, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
Holds me up.
So when was this picture that we're seeing?
I was not there, obviously, but
Oh.
I believe it was a wedding that happened in October of 2019. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I was in Seattle by that time. So,
Now, a couple of the cousins spoke about like a family breakfast that they had spoken about, and that's when Sandra finally opened up a little bit more about what was going on with the soon-to-be baby.
yeah, there was the Perazzi sisters. They can be quite intimidating, I have to say.
They
But
looked fun.
they're wonderful. They are fun. They're a lot of fun. They're very, very, very smart and fun. And yeah, if I had the 3 of them questioning me, I would definitely feel intimidated. So, but they cared about her. They wanted to find out what was going on, and nobody was really checking on her at the time. So
Mhm.
I'm glad they did what they did.
Oh yeah. Speaking of intimidating, this made me giggle. You know, when you literally have to sit someone down, go, tell me everything or else. And there was one of the cousins said that they were drilling it down, like literally, tell us now, please, because we need to know what's going on. We know something's going on. You gotta tell us. You can't. You're pregnant. You know, you can't just leave us in the dark. We're family. But yeah, if you guys didn't see the episode, they were speaking about this family breakfast and the cousins, and Sandra sat down, and Sandra finally opened up about a little bit more about the pregnancy, a little bit more information.
Yeah.
So they went over the fact that she was 2 months pregnant at the time. They said that her boyfriend was married and that she was pregnant. And then one of the cousins said, you know, flat outright, you're probably going to be raising this child on your own. To which Sandra said, no, his name's going to be on the birth certificate. He's going to leave her and be with me. And one thing that I found interesting is that one of the cousins said that after this breakfast, they thought that they were very worried for her and that it wasn't going to end up well. They knew after that conversation with her.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a good segue into a question I have is the Dateline episodes showed how crucial the apartment building footage was. Do you think the case would still be labeled as unaliving if it wasn't for the persistence of all the advocates?
I think that video definitely helped, especially us, to advocate for her. We were able to show people, look, and when you show people that video, people are like, he did it. Like, people just like, oh.
You see her coming in from cleaning off her car.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me about that video is the fact that the police came in, they looked at the apartment video, and they left. And the apartment manager, for some reason, said, I'm going to take another look at that video. The apartment, she was the assistant manager or the manager? I'm not sure.
The manager.
And she took a second look and went, whoa. And she sees Matthew Farwell on the video. She called the station and had them come back. If it wasn't for her.
Yeah, because she didn't recognize him. And he was the only person that she didn't recognize. And the maintenance man recognized him. And he said, oh, that's the guy who helped her move in.
Which was Matthew, yeah.
2 months before.
So they saw it.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, Barb, Sandra was an oversharer. You said her phone was her basically third arm. So one of the cousins said too, if she had been broken up with, she would have been telling people right away. She would have heard on her phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barb was texting with her earlier in the night.
Yeah.
And Sandra knew that Barb was on the West Coast. So Barb would have been the perfect person to call because she's 2 hours or 3 hours behind. She could have had Barb on the phone for hours and wouldn't have been like a big thing because Barb, it was still like what, 6 o'clock at night when this all went down.
It was about 5, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
it was about 5:30. It was about 8:30 here.
Yeah, so she was texting with Barb right before, and she was Snapchatting with a friend. Come on now, this girl would have definitely reached out to somebody, a friend, or like I said, Barb.
And Barb, what was that conversation like with Sandra that night?
It was completely normal. She asked me how I was, and I had a little problem and financial issue, and she said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, and then it dropped off right there, which wasn't unusual for her because she was all over the place with her phone and always talking to a bunch of people at one time, so that didn't alarm me at all. Mm-hmm. And then being in Seattle, I didn't hear about the big snowstorm, but when I finally I heard about it, when I found out about Sandra, I realized, people wouldn't be looking for her after a big snowstorm because nobody went anywhere for a few days. So I didn't realize it was such a big snowstorm. Mm-hmm. Pretty
can we get into the necklace?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We need to give Barb so many props on this because you were I am the biggest supporter of women, and the fact that it was you, Barb, that was like, hey, wait a second, this doesn't seem right. Talk about it, Barb. Talk about Sandra's flamingo necklace.
Yeah, well, the thing is with her necklace is that they saw that on her. I guess part of it was hanging off her shoulder. Correct me, Mizzy, if I'm wrong. And
it was hanging off.
It was on her stomach, on her abdomen. And then they removed her from there, and they just let it fall on the floor and left it. And when my cousins went to her aunt and uncle went to clear the apartment out, they found it on the floor. And I'm like, what is this? And we don't know what happened to it. All we know is they handed it over to the Mass State Police, so we don't know where it's at now. We don't know if maybe they gave it to the FBI or who knows.
And it's important to note, for those of you who don't know, that necklace of Sandra's was her favorite, right, Barb? She was always wearing it.
She got it from her grandmother. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that necklace had huge clumps of hair in it. So, and it was broken, not at the clasp. It was broken between the clasp past the class, halfway through. And
Yep, repairing it.
Yeah. And it was
I'm preparing it.
and it was in crime scene photos too, right? Like on her, but broken.
Yep.
I haven't seen them, but yeah, I don't think I want to.
No.
No.
But it is important to note that it was on her, and then it had fallen off, and instead of PD or crime scene investigators taking it, they just left it.
Yeah.
Just like they left the video that they watched. This was, I honestly believe this was a cover up before they even entered the building. They knew what they were going to say and do.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly believe that.
I don't think the officers that respond, like the SRO officers,
Not the initial ones, no.
yeah.
I'm not.
The crime scene
Yes, I
investigators?
agree.
Do you think of the official, the original officers? It was, they don't see a lot of this, so they just assumed it was herself, as opposed to thinking something nefarious happened.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
small towns, not a lot happens. How many times do they see this? It's not like they're living in the city of Boston where some of these guys see it.
Well,
And
that's
also,
what our
they were
role with
SRO officers, so
Yeah.
they're not seeing that stuff anyway.
Ever, right?
Yeah.
And just so we can name names.
Again. Here we go.
Canton PD came. So who were the officers for Canton PD?
There were 5. Cotard,
Yep.
Yaten.
Yeaton.
I was told by Peter it was
I have that on
Yaten.
my
It's
list.
Yeaton. No, it's Yeaton.
Yeaton?
Yaten.
Oh my god!
That
Yeaton.
hurts to even try to say.
Because I always pronounced it
I played
Yeaten.
hockey. I played pickup hockey. It's
So,
Yeaton.
so whatever, however you pronounce his name,
Brady.
Brady, who I believe he was the patrolman, and
Yeah, Mike Brady.
and
Not from the
Jonathan McCourt and
Who's no longer on the force.
Lanking
And
McCourt.
McCourt and Lang,
Yeah.
went after they found her.
Yeah.
Yeaton, and Ensley. Ensley is the one who Ensley Cotard is the one who actually found her, and the other one was behind it.
He had to take several days off afterwards. He was so shook up.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also more to like her injuries too. They said there was no struggle, but she had abrasions on her nose, and there was an indentation that's been categorized as blunt post trauma on her upper chest, and it's an indentation of the buckle from the strap.
Right.
The strap was up by her ear. The
Mhm.
buckle was up by her ear. So, and there was hair in the strap. And so if she had done this to herself, how did the buckle indentation get here and then the buckle get up here?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
The
Jeff, the
ligature
necklace
was
was broken.
literally tangled in her hair. Like there was, they could tell there was a struggle. Like how could they not see that it was a struggle? How could they not?
And her phone was on the floor, like about, I think they said like 12 inches from her hand.
Yeah.
And to me, knowing her, and also some of the things that she threatened, like, I'm going to call your wife, I'm going to tell your wife, it was the last FU to her. He knew she was dead, but if for some reason she woke up, the phone would have been like just out of her reach. So it was almost like the last, to me, in my eyes, the last FU. You can't reach your phone. It's just out of reach for you.
He had taken it away before.
Boozy, do you think this is a time that you'd want that medical examiner's statement up? Since we're talking about her neck and the buckle.
Yeah. If you guys didn't watch the show, of course, we got a couple of statements. So this is from the medical examiner, and I'll read it out for you guys. In regards to Sandra's case, and they of course declined for comment. However, they decided to say The Massachusetts Office of the Chief Medical Examiner remains dedicated to upholding the highest standards of forensic pathology and death investigation, guided by professionalism, integrity, and compassion. Our mission is to provide accurate, science-based, and impartial determinations in every case. The OCME's conclusions regarding the tragic and untimely passing of Ms. Birchmore's was based on the evidence available at the time of determination. Our skilled medical examiners are fully prepared to contribute their expertise to the legal process, ensuring a detailed and transparent analysis of the relevant facts. As with every case, the OCME will review any additional evidence submitted by investigating authorities to verify its consistency with the cause and manner of death findings. Oh, we have thoughts.
I have a question to that. That last line that says that if anything else is given to them, that they will look at that. Do you think the feds gave? They didn't. So the feds are doing this.
They're full of shit.
Okay, go ahead, take it. Go ahead.
I haven't sworn all night, so I'm saying my one swear for the night.
That's right. Eric's getting paid by the word tonight.
Was arrested. Fanning and Dunn met at the medical examiner's office with the investigators from from DOJ, FBI agents, and Dr. Smock, the one who did the autopsy review of Sandra's case, and because he's a strangulation expert, and he laid out why this was a murder, not a unaliving, and they still have not changed it. She had a broken hyoid bone. It should have been end game. They should have been able to put that on her medical record, and he should have been arrested.
Well, you also have a police chief in Stoughton that's working with the FBI who has determined it to be a murder, yet this police chief falls under Norfolk County, the DA's office. So where's the disconnect there?
Oh, we have the DA's statement. Hold on.
Oh, I'm about to get heated.
I'm glad I wasn't on the screen for the other one. I'm glad I'm not on the screen for this too.
There you go.
Oh,
go ahead, Bruce, take it away.
Oh, we already know how I feel about Morrissey. As a reminder, this annoys everyone. I live in the county, so these are my officials too, and I know have you in the chat are too. From Michael Morrissey's office, the Norfolk District Attorney's Office spent substantial time and effort investigating, interviewing, and analyzing evidence in the tragic death of Sandra Birchmore. The NDAO worked with our state partners, including collaboration with the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner. The investigation remained open. During the course of this investigation, the United States Attorney's Office reached out to work collaboratively. Sharing evidence and working collaboratively among law enforcement is critical. The NDAO provided our investigation materials and evidence we developed. Since then, Massachusetts State Police investigators assigned to the Norfolk District Attorney's Office have participated and worked collaboratively with the United States Attorney's Office. The NDAO remains committed to working to bring justice to Sandra Birchmore. As this is an active and ongoing investigation and prosecution, the NDAO refers you to the United States Attorney's Office to answer any further specific questions. As with all defendants, the accused in this case enjoys the constitutional presumption of innocence. Oh boy. Go off, Mizzy. Go off.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Miz.
Go.
Yeah. They're covering their butts. See, if you listen to the press conference for when Josh Levy goes up and does the press conference with the FBI agent, he says that they worked with the Massachusetts State Police. Well, they worked with leadership. And the leadership, I believe, this is what I believe, told their people, turn over all the evidence you have. Because if this was the case, if they work so close with the medical examiner's office and they know that things have changed and she was murdered and it wasn't herself who did it, one, why is Morrissey still saying she did it at Democratic conventions in what is it, Quincy? Why is he saying that? And two, why isn't he saying, listen, the feds have come to us with this information saying they don't believe it was an unaliving. Like, the thing is, when you look at those statements back to back, the medical examiner saying, we get more information, well, you have more information.
Yeah.
Morrissey the feds took everything they had and gave it to Morrissey.
Yeah.
So they have everything. What are you talking about? You two groups, Emmy and Morrissey's office and the Massachusetts State Police under him need to get together and get your shit together. Sorry, I had to swear again.
That's two.
And
You're up to 50 cents.
hello, do you hear me on TikTok? You can swear all you want. Who cares?
Mizzy, I'll pay your fines. Don't worry.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I'm stating this. Wasn't it Morrissey, and I always call Morrissey and his boys, weren't them that said there was no extra evidence, there's nothing proving or leads to anything, the Guarino missing text messages, tens of thousands, but they told you guys this, the family and Mizzy. Didn't you speak to John Fanning, Mizzy?
He told me the death investigation was closed. The only thing that was open, they were looking into seeing if they can get somebody charged, and they meant Matthew, for the abuse.
Mizzy, who found all the texts?
Massachusetts State Police officers' computers. John Fanning read them all himself. There are reports that I just posted on not Instagram, on the Facebook page and on X that say that he says, I read through the thousands of emails. They had this information.
And he thought there was nothing improper. What did he say? He said there's nothing. He said there was some creepy stuff, but nothing illegal. What did he say? He said something.
I'm going to bring it up so I can read the last line.
Yeah.
The report, it said Guarino, and you guys may remember that name if you don't know of the Sandra Birchmore case, because he also dealt with the data of John O'Keefe and Karen Reed and Jen McCabe and all of them. So his credibility.
Didn't he get hit by a car?
No, but literally he did. He did actually.
He did. He got hit by a car. Yeah.
But in that report, it literally says that Guarino, Barb, talk about karma coming back around. Yeah. So Guarino was the one that did all the data pulling, right, of Sandra's devices. And Fanning is the one that delved through them. And I have a lot of questions on why Fanning was the one to do it. But it was Fanning the one that then told Mizzy, there's nothing of really significance here. There's nothing concerning, really.
Not a thing.
Right. Right.
This is what it says, the last line. It appears that Sandra had sexual relationships with other men in the months leading up to her death. There were no threats of harm of any of these individuals, including Matt. That's bullcrap too, because they had altercations in the lead up to her murder.
Wait a minute. It's in the way he wrote that. Read that last line one more time.
There were no threats of harm by any of these individuals, including Matt.
No. I'm sorry. The line before that. She was
Sandra had sexual relationships with other men in the months leading up to her death.
But that didn't. But see how he wrote that. But he didn't rule out Farwell. He just said, yeah, she had sex with other men, But he didn't say, but not Farwell.
Yeah.
You see how he didn't take him out. He just didn't include him.
Yep.
It's all in the way they word things.
Oh, yes, it
But
is.
even that last part, there was no threats. He was making threats. I mean, he put her in a headlock.
Because I was about to say that, weren't they touched upon this on Dateline about how he opened up when she was like 15 or 16 about what he preferred in his bedroom activities, right? And how the violence was getting worse. It was increasing. So he was actually being more abusive than he already was. It was getting worse and
Well,
worse.
he was getting frustrated.
Worse. And then I remember them saying that there was a text message where Sandra was speaking to a friend, I believe, and she said something along the lines of, "Oh, he wished I would just die.
Yeah.
He doesn't want the baby. He just
He
wished I
wanted-
was blonde."
He made the threat that the friend that did the interview said that Sandra told her, I either you he wanted her to die or she would unalive herself. So basically took both scenarios that had been accused or what Sandra was blamed for herself. He put her in a headlock right before that, right? Like weeks before she was murdered. He like violently snatched her phone out of his hand because she threatened to call his wife, text his wife. So he was ratcheting up his abuse. And then that phone call, the crucial part is the phone call came into the department.
Absolutely, yeah.
About
and she hid this from all family members, all friends, from everyone.
She did, but she was starting to tell friends about what happened.
Yeah.
And people think it's the baby is the reason why she got murdered. Yes, the baby might have been part of it.
Yeah.
But the reason why Sandra was murdered was because of his secret was getting out. Right. Her friend had called the police station because she was angry that she wasn't getting paid back money. So she called there and wanted the Stoughton Police Department to do something about it. They said, "Ma'am, that's a civil thing. We can't do anything about that." And that friend got angry and said, "Well, you tell Matthew Farwell that his girlfriend Sandra Birchmore owes me money and he needs to tell her to pay me back." That conversation right there is what led to Sandra's downfall.
Well, that and the fact that he saw what happened to Rob Devine when a girlfriend went to the station and basically spilled the beans on him, and saw all the problems that he got himself into. Yeah. So I'm sure that the temper got the best of him. But he was a twin, correct?
Yes.
So you don't think he was telling his twin brother everything? That he was keeping all the twins are usually very, very tight.
Yeah, they are.
Right?
But his twin was abusing her too. But they also had rivalry when it came to her too. A friend of Barb and I interviewed one of her friends, and she told us that one time she was hooking up with one of the brothers, and because Matthew had her phone tracked, so he knew where she was at all times, and if she turned off the tracker, he would punish her. He would do things like what Boozy was just saying. He was ratcheting that stuff up. Well, he found out where she was, and he rolled up, and he's hooking up with his brother. She's hooking up with his brother, and they got into a tiff about it. The brothers. So there was a weird thing about that, and then also, if you read the report, there was like some incest stuff that he was interested in. So I don't know. We don't know what happened. Why was he into that?
And this also too, for those of you who like don't fully understand like the process of like, because we always hear like, well, why didn't you just leave? And it's like, there's such a mental and emotional on top of the physical aspect to this, right? And it's like, when you have someone that does these actions, you have someone that you're a child, then you start trusting. they open up about what they prefer and how these violent tendencies are only in the bedroom. This is my fetish of mine. It may get a little rough. But then, unfortunately, what that does, especially for someone that doesn't understand what's going on, those actions then proceed outside of the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very common, especially in instances like this where it is, a 15 and 27-year-old, because that was the age difference between the two when they first started doing this stuff. That when you first, I hate to say it like this, as someone who's been through domestic violence myself, that first hit, that first shove, the first really screaming match, you tend to just go, oh, that's weird, but maybe let me just forgive them because, like, maybe I just made them mad. Like, we're used to doing this in the bedroom. You're like, maybe it's just nothing. And then it progresses and it gets worse. And it gets to the point where you get numb to the yelling, you get numb to the shoving, which leads to the punching and then the choking. And one of the main things they say about domestic violence victims, that if you get choked, the chances of you being killed by that person are significantly high. If you start being choked, you need to leave, because that always leads to it getting worse. Like there's but the problem is because he was bringing it into the bedroom first, that she didn't recognize, most likely, that outside of the bedroom, that it was dangerous.
That there was trauma. There was trauma on his. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's, I've always thought that, like, because we would, not that we talk about it too much, but we were always trying to, like, how did it go down? And I've said since I started covering this case, he had to have been doing this before, and it made her not realize the danger she was in that night.
That's right.
It was something that was normal to her.
Oh yeah. No, this was just probably another argument to her. And then look what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think there was an argument.
No.
Honestly.
You think he just went in the elevator, went up, and
he called her and said, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. She was a little shocked that he was there because he said he couldn't come over that day.
Right.
And he was using the birth of his child and the snowstorm kind of as his, I don't want to say alibi, but as a cover. And he literally, it seems like he called her from the parking lot because he said, hey, can I come over? And then he was literally there.
So for people that, and the way he went about just living his life afterwards, driving a truck, bought himself a job, driving a truck, had his kid in the truck with him, just going about his day to day, and the feds move in, tying it back to Karen Reed, for people to think that the feds aren't doing what they're doing. The feds work on a total different timeline than everyone else. It is painfully slow.
Yeah.
Right? They will move in when they move in.
Right.
So.
And they don't move until they're good and ready.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So for people to say, now, I'll tell you, it's the investigations, both of them, still. So, Ms., I asked you this earlier too. The amount of times that his trial keeps getting pushed forward. We know, like we said, one was because he got a different lawyer. And then, so do we expect that we are going to see some headway now?
Yes. In October, he has 2 trial dates. The last one was canceled because they weren't, the government wasn't getting reciprocal discovery. So they needed to get their stuff. And on October 6th is the last pretrial hearing. And then we're going to move into the next phase. They're going to be getting a new judge, and the next one will be on the 16th. And that is going into the next stage. And I suspect we will get a trial date that day. And it will go very fast from then.
Yeah.
We have 75 days They have in federal court, they have a thing called the Speedy Trial Act. They have 75 days to try him.
Why
They all agree to not to like push it down a little bit further.
why is there a new judge coming in at this time?
Because this judge is just kind of like the pre-trial judges.
Yeah, it's a different level. So the one on the 6th is actually the final status, right? Final status hearing.
Yes.
And then the one on the 16th is the pre-trial conference. They're both, they're not even called hearings, they're called conferences.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can I
Barb
also,
said it right.
can I also ask, I've heard so many different stories about Fanning. I'm just curious as to what role did he play in all this and back when this all happened and up to today.
A dipshit.
Go ahead, Mizzy. This is you.
Fanning is a former Stoughton police officer.
Yep.
He worked with Robert Devine.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was also working at the station when the Farwell brothers were police explorers in 2002 to 2000. I don't remember exactly what year they left being a police explorers, but he left Stoughton in 2005. Fanning should have never been on this case because he was a former Stoughton police officer and worked with Robert Devine.
Very close.
Yes. And he most likely knew the Farwell brothers. And so for him to even be on this case is just like Proctor, shouldn't have been on the case.
No.
Trooper Dunn was kind of like, actually it's exactly like it was like the Proctor role. And Fanning was more like Buchanan. So, but Fanning was always there when the Farwells were interviewed. He was one of the officers. It was him and Dunn who went to the school.
He interviewed them in a parking lot.
Yes.
Parking lot.
Yeah.
Was was the one who took the phone from him
in a school parking lot.
That's a professional courtesy. That's what that is.
Absolutely. And he's the one who collected his phone from him and interviewed him again. So whenever these officers were interviewed, he was there. And to me, it was to, cover. He, as you guys know, I came on a few months ago and I told you how much he lied to me. And I knew he was lying, but
I remember that.
How much he covered for him to say there was nothing, he did nothing wrong. He was very careful in those text messages. He didn't say much. When you read the text messages from the feds, you're like, what? I didn't believe him.
So because it's not televised, because it's federal, we're only going to be able to hear from the reporters that get to go in, right? Or whoever the family members that are in can pass along to others to spread the news of each daily happening in court. My question is, I can't wait to see how much Fanning's name comes up in the Fed case. And I'll just leave it at that.
He's got to have to testify. They're the one who did the beginning of the investigation. They're going to have to talk about how it was collected. But beyond that, the Norfolk DA's office and the medical examiner are going to be a part of Farwell's people are going to be able to use that so much. Like it's going to be people think, oh, the Fed's got this. It's going to be a slam dunk. No, it's going to be an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm.
One, they're going to go after Sandra's mental health. They're going to they're going to make her sound like she was crazy and off a rocker. They're going to go after how many men she was sleeping with. And also, why didn't Fanning and Dunn charge him? Why didn't the Norfolk DA's office go after them? And why did the medical examiner still saying that she unalived herself?
Well, Fanning's going to have to answer a lot of questions. He's going to have to answer a lot of questions. Yeah.
Well,
I
all
know.
we have to do is look at patterns of behavior.
Mhm.
And we have a perfect case that happened less than a year later.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
There you go.
I will never forget on the stand when we had the medical examiner that examined John O'Keefe. And she was not supposed to be working that night, right? She was just on call. She got called in. It wasn't the person that was supposed to be there.
No one was the person.
Well, for you know what? Thank God it was her, because they tried to swindle her, and she said, "No, I'm leaving this as undetermined because I don't know what's going on because your investigation sucks." And
Yeah,
instead
then
of
they called her a whack job.
Yeah.
But guess what? That makes me wonder, did that same instance happen here with Sandra,
Mhm.
except it happened to be the right medical examiner for them and what they needed?
Exactly.
And what
Yep.
kind of communications can that be FOIA requested? What kind of communications happen between them that we may not know about?
Right.
Because I bet you there's something.
They have a very good working relationship
Yeah.
with each other. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, the medical examiner falls under the Massachusetts State Police. It's an arm of the Massachusetts State Police.
Yep.
Right.
It-
Yeah. The whole thing, when you really start to interweave the two and the connections between Canton and Stoughton, because remember, Yuri went to Stoughton High too.
Yes,
And
he
then you
did.
got the Fanning, and then you got the Farwells, and it's like, you start doing all the connection. It's like, oh my God, they all know each other
Yeah,
from these two
they do.
cases. They all know each other. They're all friends. And like something I think people get misconstrued. They think like the Massachusetts State Police is like this huge force. Yeah, but the Norfolk County boys, they're all pretty damn close.
Yeah.
They're all friends. They all hang out, and I'm sure we've all seen some photos
Especially
floating around
cops.
on Twitter. Yeah, they just hang out. So you think they're not shooting the shit about different cases and stuff? Like, how many of us believe that they didn't know about the Farwell brothers in Divine with Sandra? Like, that's the reason why I don't believe McNamera is clueless on this.
Yeah.
They all talk.
Mizzy and Barb, do you think that there's going to be more fallout from this whole situation, that not just Farwell will be indicted? Will there be more people looking at
Indicted?
charges soon?
We
Oh,
hope.
yeah.
We hope.
We hope. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if they did like a RICO case. There's so much because
Yeah.
it should all be folded up together. I mean, this
Yeah.
this young woman was abused and being introduced to other men. She was groomed, and William was introducing her to other men. That's trafficking. That is trafficking. And so it's like, and William, he was doing other odd things. A police officer does not need to look themselves up in the system.
Mhm.
He looked himself up in the CJIS system 24 times, and he looked Sandra up 2 or 3 times. It's
Jim
not
McCabe
normal.
Googled herself.
And that was in what, 2020?
I think so. 20, yeah, because there was 20, yeah,
Around
20.
October.
There is no, and
Yeah.
for him to be doing that he was probably looking for if his name popped anywhere, if Sandra's name was popping anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for it. Why would a police officer be looking themselves up?
Right.
Right. The other thing that I find very strange is that here we are, and I've said this before. Falwell was arrested well over a year ago, and he still hasn't seen the inside of a courtroom.
Nope.
Any ideas on this? This seems a little unprecedented to me. I mean, is there?
Well, you know what else is weird? Nothing's happened to him. Look at every other high-profile person, right? Walsh. You just go through all the names that
Mm-hmm.
the E
Well,
guy.
there might be a difference between federal custody and state custody.
Oh,
Yeah.
there is. He's
Yeah, I know when he first went in, he was barely coming out of his cell.
Yeah.
He gets 1 hour out a day, and he was basically going to take a shower and going right back in his cell.
No stairs for him. They don't want him falling down any stairs.
But they usually get to exercise and stuff. They get a whole hour out when he just showered and went back into his cell. I heard that from a CO.
Well, because usually what do we hear? That they don't do so well. The type of people that do what he does, you know, they don't do so well in any court system, meaning that someone wants to take care of them. And I'm sure there's a whole list of people that want to take care of them in there.
I'm sure.
Well, I mean, he's in there for like abusing a child.
Yep.
And he's a cop. And he murdered a young woman. So it's like
her baby. And
yeah.
Baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's like, just. Yeah, he hasn't been in court. He hasn't seen that. The only day he was there was when he was arrested, and he backed out of the bail hearing. He knew he wasn't going to have it.
And they stopped the Explorers program, right? They haven't had one since, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that there should be any reforms in place for some of this?
Absolutely.
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a bill making its way through the state house that they're trying to get passed. It kind of like shores up the loophole of mentors and hooking up with children. And I think they were going to raise the age. They might be raising the age to 18, not 16. I think it should be added in there if a child that is abused by like a mentor or just a mentor. If they unalive themselves or they're murdered, that they could still charge this person. Like just because Sandra isn't here to testify, they shouldn't be able to skirt on this, especially if there's evidence. There are text messages where he's admitting, where they're talking about them. That is happening at 15.
That's right. Yeah.
So they're saying, like they said in the Dateline, that because she's no longer here, they couldn't charge him.
Right.
Well, she's no longer here because he murdered her. So you can't have both ways,
Right.
In a civil society, we shouldn't be. A murderer shouldn't be able to get off on those charges because they did that.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make any sense.
No. Do you I think he's down in Wyatt, is down in Rhode Island. He's down in Wyatt.
Yeah, he's in Rhode Island.
So so the very next court case is when?
October 6th.
October 6th. And we have it put that being a backup. For people that want to follow along, it's justice for sandrabirchmore.com.
Yep.
You have questions and answers on there. You have all the court dates on there. You have all the news. I just, we have to be able to make the rounds with getting all, like, as many people to be aware of this. I mean, it was almost like a passing thought. The Karen Reed trial is one of those once in a lifetime OJ trials, right?
Yeah.
But this is just as important, even more. I mean, this is it. This was a child.
Yeah.
When it started. I mean, she was 23 at the end, but it's like, enough is enough with the teachers, the priests, the police officers. It's always these people in powerful, in positions that fly under the radar.
Right. It's true.
Yeah.
They put themselves in those positions on purpose so that they.
I think some of them do. I think. Yep.
Yeah.
They go through a 20-week academy, and right away they're given a car, they're given their badge and firearm, and that's it. That's the last you see of them, and all you hear is rumors. And the same thing, teachers, see me after class, priests. The parents are like, the parents like, oh, my troubled kid, and the priest is going to counsel them. They know just how to get alone with these kids.
Yeah. Coaches, another one.
Coaches, same thing. Coaches,
And that's
Right.
one of the reasons why Barb and I are so adamant of like pushing
The doctors.
Sandra's story, because it's not just about Sandra. We can't. Yes, we can keep Sandra's name out there and keep her memory alive,
Yeah.
but we can't really do much for Sandra in the living. But we can make sure people hear her story so they know what to look for, and they can talk to their children. Because when we were kids, we were all told the scary man in the van, the creepy
Candy.
stranger,
The puppy.
stranger danger. No,
The puppy,
it's
the
not.
candy,
Yeah,
Wow.
yes, there are
clown.
those people, but most of the people who are,
It does
hurting
happen.
children are people that an uncle, a neighbor, a coach, a
That's
teacher.
what it is. Yeah.
And it can
Right.
even be police
Most
officers.
relative.
A train, right? A trainer. Like the
Trainer.
gymnastics, the trainer.
look at the
University of Michigan, the doctor at University of Michigan.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's why we want to make sure we continue to keep pushing her story, and we can talk about grooming, because I feel like in this country, grooming, we throw the word grooming around too easily, and we don't talk about the root of it and what it really entails and what it
Yep.
does to a child and how it can change a person. And say, like, take Sandra. People are like, well, why? The question was asked earlier, why didn't she stop? Why didn't she just leave? She was an adult. Well, the grooming doesn't stop when the clock when she turned 18. It doesn't end there.
Right.
It continues. They want, especially Sandra, because like we were saying before, she was so tiny. She was little.
Mm-hmm.
If you read I don't want to say too much about it because it's gross, but
Yeah.
his fantasies
Yeah.
that he made her do, and she fit that because she looked like a child.
Yep.
At 23, she still looked like she was under 18.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we're pushing Sandra's story out there, not just for Sandra, but we want her legacy not to be what he did and what his brother did and what Divine did. We want
Right.
her legacy is to be helping other children so they don't end up like her.
So this is going to be hard for me because I have two co-hosts that are on different ends. So I'm going to be very delicate with how I'm moving forward with this. Okay. There was
Mizzy and I are on the same wavelength. I don't know what
No, you're not. Okay.
Not on everything.
Not on everything. There's one thing we saw. There's been so much Charlie Kirk stuff in the last couple weeks, right?
Oh.
Now, one thing that he stressed was we grew up where one parent worked, the other one was home, and now you have both parents working, and a lot of people that only have a single parent, which Sandra was a single parent. She was a family, came from a single parent family, right? And we end up trusting all these other people with our children because the parents are either both at work or it's a single mom who so it just makes it so much easier for these predators to get a hold of the children when you don't have somebody watching over them, like it was back in the 70s and 80s with us.
Well, that's the problem now too. We have the internet.
Yeah.
You can't watch over your kids 24/7.
Nope.
And I think that's another thing that happened with Sandra.
Oh, like you
Yeah,
said,
actually,
her on
like
Facebook.
like you said,
There
the
you
phone,
go.
the phone.
Yes,
Yeah.
But
that's scary.
the other thing is too, though, John. I know people tend to think that it's only kids that come from trouble.
Well, I'm not saying only. I'm just saying it.
it's
Oh,
not.
but it really is like you could have like the quintessential perfect family, 2 kids, golden retriever, white fence, living in $1 million home, and you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
What comes about. If anything, it could be that those parents don't want the stuff getting out there because they don't want the name to be associated. So like there's so many other cycles and things that can come along with grooming.
Yep.
It's not just one subset or
Oh, no, I'm just saying it makes it that much easier for some of the, or you always see like the inner city kids that they don't have anything, they don't have the sports and they don't have all the extra things that they can go to, and then all of a sudden someone's like, hey, I'll it just, I don't know, it just, there's a lot of scary people out there.
yeah, like Michael Morrissey.
Mm.
Yeah, that exactly. We have somebody in power who refused. I like to say, I don't like to say it, but I like to say that the police disrespected Sandra in life. They degraded her in life, but they also disrespected her and degraded her in death.
And still do.
Yes, they said she did this to herself. She was the original pin it on the girl.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why both of those, that saying is so powerful that came out in Karen's trial, because they tried to pin it on Karen and they tried to pin it on Sandra. That's the first thing I said when Karen got acquitted. Tears streaming down my face, and I screamed at my TV. They didn't get to pin it on another girl, because the feds took up for Sandra, and the people got Karen acquitted.
Yeah.
And if we just even think back to what the Norfolk County's statement was, John's all about reading into it, right? They literally said that if you have any questions, go talk to the feds.
Go talk to the feds.
They have wiped my hands clean of this. It's done. No, it's not. Because if they really wanted to, they could go and reopen it. They could change the medical examiner's report, and they're refusing to.
Yeah.
And I think we all really need to start looking into the reason why.
Well, it sounds like the feds have shared a lot of information with Morrissey's office.
They have.
Almost like they're daring him to change the outcome of their investigation, and he's not. It's almost like they're daring him not to change it.
Josh Levy said, we are taking everything that we have and we're turning it over to our friends in the state so they can see if they can find where they want to charge any state charges.
He gave them an opportunity.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Question from the Kronks. Matthew Falwell's wife is still proclaiming he's innocent.
Yes.
Right.
So I've heard. I don't know.
Lost Barb for a minute. She'll be back. Right.
Well, we haven't seen any divorce paperwork filed.
I haven't.
So, I don't think really know what's going on, if she's visiting or anything. That's nothing we would know about until we saw public documents over it.
Oh, somebody said divorced. Well, I don't know. I'm not putting that out there because I don't know.
Yeah, nobody's come to me and said, they very well could be, but I feel like that might have also, if that was to happen, that might have been more about the civil lawsuit than getting away from him.
Mizzy, somebody wants to do something. What can they do? How do they get education on changing this? I don't. Oh, hey, Barb's back.
My computer was gonna die, so I had to plug it in.
You got to plug it in.
She's got a new location.
One of the things you can do is we have a standout on Saturday.
That's right.
Come join us.
And here's the thing: anybody that does a standout with Mizzy, if you have questions, she's got the answers.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have them too. So.
Barb. So you do some of the standout too?
Yes.
Yeah. Barb, so same thing. You can go up to. They're both approachable. So if it's all right with you guys, we'd love to have you guys on as news comes out, and just to let us. If you don't, it doesn't have to be all the time, but if there's something that you guys want to talk about or get out there or whatever, we're more than happy to give you all the time in the world to say whatever you need to say.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
What are the details of the next standout?
It's this 27th, so it's next Saturday from 12 to 3.
And where?
We have some extra signs, but if you can make a sign, you know, you don't have to buy anything. You can just grab a piece of cardboard in your house and on a Sharpie write Morrissey sucks or something, you know, standard murder, you know, whatever you want to say, whatever your heart, you know, feels you should say.
We should get a meatball truck.
We ask people if you can to wear light blue because Sandra's favorite color was blue and baby, so we said baby blue. And wear some light blue, or if you don't have light blue, wear white. That's the other color we kind of adopted because, you know, Sandra's innocence was lost. It's to dedicate towards her innocence that was stolen. And if you don't have either of those colors, it doesn't matter. Just come talk to us. Come hold a sign. Come wave with us. We have banners and stuff for people to hold.
We bring extra.
Yeah, so just come join us. We still need to be out there, even though
And there's parking?
Yes, there's some parking there.
Yeah.
You can park it's right across the street where we are. It's right across the street from Town Hall in Stoughton. There is parking at the Town Hall.
Oh yeah, there's a big lot on the side, off to the side.
Whichever you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah. And
on a Saturday, there's plenty of parking there.
Up the street too is the train station, so there's plenty of parking down there. Even if you can't find parking, come join us. Come hang out. You know.
Here's a question. Here's a question. Now that it's in federal court, why do we still why do you guys still choose Stoughton? Because of the Stoughton cop.
Because it originated in Stoughton. We do some in Canton.
No, I was thinking the federal courthouse, but yeah.
Yeah, we did her
in Stoughton. I mean, she spent the last 2 months of her life in Canton.
Yeah.
She moved to Canton December 1st.
And that was just an apartment.
It was an apartment.
Yeah. Yep.
It was on the town line.
Yeah. Her apartment was so close to the Stoughton. Yeah. She was. She was like, I'm right kind of moving to Canton. That's how close to the Stoughton. Like you literally come out of her driveway. The driveway to the apartment.
Entering Stoughton.
There's a sign that says "Welcome."
Sign says entering. Yeah.
So she was like, "I'm moving to Canton, but not really," type deal.
We know those.
So
we know those apartments well. Yeah.
Definitely.
But we just want to make sure everybody in Stoughton are still being educated. We did Cobb's Corner one time where the 4-way corner where Stoughton, Sharon, and Canton. That was a good location. We've done Canton a bunch of times. We've done, we did the 4-year anniversary standout at Canton. We felt like that was a better location to do it because it was where she was murdered. Right. The abuse took place. It all originated in Stoughton. And also, we have a better, which is kind of weird to say, we have a better relationship with the Stoughton Police Department.
Yeah.
I'm in contact.
Canton's getting there. Canton's getting there slowly.
So it's like
it's a process, John.
Yeah. So they like, we don't give them any trouble. They don't give us any trouble. I let them know when we're coming. And the second person to message me was this deputy, the newer deputy chief of Stoughton when he was arrested. Like he was one of the first people to message me when Farwell got arrested. So it's like I've built a rapport with them.
That's great.
Yeah, so like it's less tension than there is in Canton, because you guys all know how much tension there's in Canton. Still, I know it's getting better, but
Eric does.
But I get it.
I've never had a problem.
This chief is temporary, let's say, but he's I think he's got the department going in the right direction, and sure, I'd love to see him stay on. But if somebody else comes on, I think that he's going to put that next person in good footing.
Yeah,
let's hope so.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. Exactly.
It's kind of weird to say. I had a good rapport with Rafferty too. That was weird, but
so did I. I thought I did too. We used to text all the time.
Here's the thing. The standouts are not going to stop. Just like in Canton, you know, here's the thing. We say this all the time. There would be no standouts outside D&E Pizza. Chris Albert would just resign from being a select board member. There would be no more standouts in front of Canton PD if some of those people would just quit, because there's still a lot of fuckery going on in Canton PD. And it's the same thing in Stoughton. There are still individuals working that know too much, that knew too much, that have yet to be held accountable. If you hold yourself accountable, do you know how many of us would be like, great, if Sandra was to get justice and if John O'Keefe was to get justice, do you know how many of us would just be like, perfect, that's all we want. We're still going to keep an eye on it, and if more things come about, we'll be right back. But we still have so many unanswered questions.
Exactly. Exactly.
There's still a lot of accountability that needs to be done.
Oh yes, there is.
Exactly. A lot of finger pointing in other directions, and it's just that's the main thing. If someone would just come out and say the truth about all of this,
be great.
Right?
It'd be so good.
Yeah.
Eventually, it will all,
I think so,
materialize. It just does.
Yeah.
However long it takes, it will happen.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll rise to the surface.
Exactly.
Let's hope.
In both cases, we need it. You know, John
absolutely.
Sandra and John both deserve justice, and both of their deaths are a stain on that area. You know, and you can't get rid of the funk of it till you actually address it. You know?
Correct. And you know what? One has to hope that there'll be justice for each of them. There'll be healing. They'll be moving on, but not forgetting. You know what I mean? Like people will, you know, there was a number of years ago, my brother and I used to have our own show. We didn't do anything heavy. It was always fun stuff. There was this one time that there was a tragedy in the town in which two people, trees fell on them during a snowstorm. And one was a little girl. And I talk about it all the time. The town literally came together. They put pink bows on every telephone pole for the girl and green for the man because he was a hockey coach. And what my brother and I did is we went around and we did our own little music video for them, and I play it every year on their anniversary, just so that nobody forgets. And I think the same thing's going to happen, hopefully, with Sandra and John. That once justice is served, that there will be a certain date in which there will be reminders every year.
Oh
yeah.
I would love if they would like put up like dark blue and light blue, you know, bows up around the town.
Yeah.
You know, they have these two deaths that took place almost a year apart, and their dates are so close together, the 29th and the 1st. It's within, you know, it would be nice if they did that. So it could be to more of a memorial instead of like the sides clashing.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Was it 11 months between the two?
Yeah. John was the 29th.
Of January.
Yeah, but each one deserves their own. Each one deserves their own recognition.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. I wouldn't lump them together on in like a group thing. I mean, something could be done.
Well, I think the only reason they're lumped in together is because Norfolk County investigated both.
Of course. Yeah.
Yep. And even though it was two separate, like different outcomes, it was still the same, like muck in between. Like
too many of the same players.
Confusing. You know, you have Morrissey on both hands. You know, he's saying Sandra's case is done and solved. Oh, now the feds are involved. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're done with that. And then on the flip side, they're saying about John O'Keefe, it's only Karen Reed, and even though she was acquitted of his murder, we're not going to look into it anymore. Like she's the only one that could do it. So it's like I said, it's two separate outcomes, but it's the exact same. It's
yeah. Speaking of that, and if people don't want to come and do the standout, there's an initiative that's going on in Massachusetts right now. Is they're trying to get on the ballot. It's a recall, so people can recall like a Morrissey.
Recall
Yeah.
petition.
Yeah. So if you can't make the actual stand out and come and stand with us, but you want to swing by and you're a Massachusetts resident and you want to sign the petition, the petition will be there on Saturday. So please come and just, you can stay with us for 10, 15 minutes and then go about your Saturday. If you are in the area, this is very, very important. So when things like this happen in Massachusetts, somebody like Morrissey can be recalled and kicked out of office.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that's what it originally was. It was a recall petition
Yeah,
for
for
Morrissey originally.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm one of the sponsors. So glad to
Really?
help. Yes.
And also right now to even do the recall process, it's a little ridiculous. You know, it's almost
They have to have
impossible.
so many numbers, right? Name.
Like
you have to have a certain
climbing a
amount of numbers.
mountain and then climbing another mountain and then
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
They put a time restraint on you, as
Yep.
well as the amount of
Yeah, time
signatures you
limit.
have to get.
It's like 75,000. 75.
Yep.
And you
It's
got to
like-
do it within a ridiculously
Yeah,
short
like
period
2-month
of time.
period, 3-month
Right.
period.
So it's a certain percentage of how many people voted for him, right? So there's that percentage. But then that petition, once you get that hump, don't you have to go up to, I forget his name, the state secretary, right?
I'm not sure
Galvin?
exactly
Not
how
sure,
it
but
works.
that's what they're trying to kind of like.
And
Get
but
this
then
on the
that
ballot.
but the problem with that is that guy has donated to Morrissey many, many times. He was actually at that the one that we went to, Mizzy, when I first met you.
Oh,
out
wow.
in
That's that.
last year.
Welcome,
at
to,
that one.
welcome to one party Massachusetts.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
This is what you get.
It's what you
Yeah.
vote for.
Karen got it. Gavin, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you know, there's no checks or balances. So
I
it's
will
like,
say our Kronks have been really good tonight.
yeah.
Kronks are always good to
No, I've been very knowledgeable and helping out a ton. So
yeah.
So, all right, Boozy,
All right.
we've hit two hours.
We did it.
This is where you get rid of the guests now. This isn't. What? I don't.
It's part of being in charge.
You're in
Boozy.
charge. You gotta let them off the hook nicely. Don't do like I do.
No, I would never, because I'm always like,
Please
did you
don't.
really just be wicked mean to them?
Yeah,
for
please, when they leave, don't say thank God.
I
didn't
thought
think
they'd never leave.
He's so mean.
I got that from my father. My
Kick
father
us
used to
out,
say
Barb.
that.
Barb, don't leave. Like, she's gonna kick you out, but don't leave.
Oh yeah, Bob.
Don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
Stay
You just go up in the back in the green room to have some M&M.
Go
Right.
grab your tea.
Yeah.
Well-
Leave your computer on. We're
Yeah.
gonna put you in the green room. Go
Now
have
what-
some M&Ms.
There is one final question about this dateline.
Yeah.
One
Okay.
thing. Okay. One thing that we didn't get to that I promised beforehand we would get to.
Oh.
Barb, you had this amazing interview, which I know you don't want the compliment. I'm going to give you it again. I think you did amazing. Not only did you look amazing, but you kept yourself composed
Absolutely.
when you could have been hyper emotional, screaming, crying. You did amazing. And you
Yep.
are
Thank you.
such an amazing advocate for Sandra.
She'd do the same for me. I know that. She would.
Um,
She would
and-
fight for me.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I do want to ask, because they were such limited time with the 45-minute to an hour for your dateline. And of course, there's only so much that they could put in for your interview. Is
Right.
there anything that they missed that you got to speak about in the interview? Anything that you would want to say that didn't make it into Sandra's episode of Dateline?
Do we have another hour?
Got all
You
the
have all the
time
time
you
you
want.
want.
What is this?
You have all the time you want. That's why we said
God.
anytime. Yeah.
Well, the most important thing is that they never mentioned the group and all the work that Mizzy's done and all the help she's been amazing. So
Mhm.
you know,
You sure
can-
there's nothing else?
is this a test? Is that what this is?
I told
What
you
is
I didn't know
happening?
that, Susie. We didn't
What is
have a
going on?
pre-meeting.
Can I just
Yeah.
add to
Well,
that?
there's
And then
plenty
while
more.
Barb's
There's plenty
thinking,
more.
I
Yes.
don't care that I wasn't in the episode.
But the
I just
group
wanted
gave
our
you.
group to be mentioned so people would
Right.
know where they could
You
come
too.
and
Right.
get more information on Sandra's case.
And
It
that
just
group is Justice for Sandra Birchmore.
yeah,
On
and we
Facebook.
advocate for her every day, and we weren't even mentioned at all.
Exactly.
And you
But
know,
you're certainly welcoming new members that would are interested in Sandra's story
Oh,
and,
yeah.
absolutely.
and want to see justice.
Right.
Absolutely, everybody's welcome to come find out about her story
Mhm.
on our page. You know,
And people, Mizzy doesn't take a dime from anyone
Mhm.
for this. And it's the same for the same reason. I didn't put the Venmo scroll across the bottom. Nobody had to ask me to do it. I just know
Wow.
that there was no reason. That was one of the things that I knew. Mizzy, there's no money. There's not just money. There's no money. There's no gifts. There's no nothing. She's doing this for Sandra. So and we didn't get any super chats tonight, which I am so happy for, because I would have had to figure out how we could have moved that money somewhere.
Wow.
Which I'm so happy we didn't. And like I said, it's a reason why I didn't even put the scroll across the bottom. I'm more than happy of doing. I'd rather just give our time.
thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, no, you do it all the time, Mizzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just about amplifying. Oh God, Mizzy, you're rubbing off on me.
Amplifying.
Amplifying Sandra's voice.
Disinformation.
Man.
Oh no, we're mind melding.
I'm melting.
and it really is great that Sandra got national exposure. Her story that needs the national exposure.
Really does need
This
it.
is a kickstart to bigger things, I think.
Yes.
And the timing, with all the activities going on in the court, the timing probably couldn't have been better.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
And we're thankful. We're thankful for how I think they did a pretty good, especially since we saw how bad Karen's was. They did a good job, and that's one of the things we said to them. You know, for us, I said flat out, there were so many complaints about Karen's. I didn't care for Karen's. I was flat out honest with the producer. I said,
Interesting.
we need it to be better. For us to work with you, we need it to be better. And we wanted to ensure that there were certain topics that were covered, like the grooming. Yeah, they touched upon it. I wish they did a little bit more on the grooming. But those were the things that we were like, and you need to tell Sandra's story, not just about her, like what you were saying at the beginning, Boozy, but what happened to her, about who she was. You know, she wasn't, she's not just this caricature girl who was murdered and groomed and defiled by the Stoughton Police Department. She was a young woman who had hopes and dreams, and we all have to.
She seemed to be a person that, and I don't know, I didn't know her, but just from the stories, it just seems like she's somebody that was full of life and really enjoyed life.
Yeah.
Let's just show it one more time. Full of life. You can just see the smile,
See
the
smile.
eyes, right?
Yeah.
Right. The grin, always the smile, the grin, right? I mean, even at a young age, just you can see it in all of them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's her mom.
That's her mom.
The niece.
You know what? Because earlier when Boozy was talking about her mother, I missed putting that one up, and I'm going through them all right now. I'm going through all the just so we didn't leave anything out to
No, that's her.
I love that photo.
Yeah.
How old is Sandra in that picture? 4 or 5 years old? I mean, that old?
3.
Or 3?
Like 2 or
I'm gonna
3.
say
Yeah.
about
2 or
3,
3.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Issues with a dog.
She loved dogs and cats.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what you're talking about, people. You talk about a young girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was just starting to figure things out.
Yeah.
She really was. She was just starting to put it together.
I know.
And
Well,
he didn't want her to do that.
Well, that's the thing. You think back to 23. Where were we all in life at 23?
Mm-hmm.
And she seemed to have to work a little harder at life based on her,
Yes,
She
she
had
did.
very close family members that just all of a sudden weren't there anymore, and
She was an
certainly not easy.
overachiever for sure. She was an overachiever. She was given an assignment in school. I remember in college, she would always hand them in way early than she needed to, and everything. She was just, really.
By the way, for the people that did ask about Falwell's wife, she 100% did file for divorce. It just it got impounded. I think it was down in Bristol, which is my county.
Oh,
Mine too.
Yeah.
Why would you
Yeah.
impound a divorce? We
That-
impound divorces now?
there might there considering the person that he is and what he has done, there could be some other allegations.
True.
So
Let it fly, Boozy. Let it
don't
fly.
just say it like that. No, it's
No, be good. Be good.
no.
Just remember
All
the
right.
word allegedly.
Yeah, just say allegedly a lot and we'll be okay.
Well,
You know?
I want to end. Let's see if I do this right. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, she's learning the buttons.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
learning the
Alright.
buttons now. I want to end with the overlay. I don't think you need to see any of our faces because at the end of the day, the reason why we're all here
Yeah, what a great
is
answer.
Boozy, we do have one other thing after we say goodbye to them that I was
We do?
promised I could do. Yes.
Oh,
They're not going anywhere. They're just going in the green room.
oh,
I
Well,
know.
there goes my idea.
I know. I'm sorry.
no.
But you guys
It was
promised
literally
me-
that John
you
has to
guys
take the
promised
phone
me-
back.
you guys promised me last week I could play my song.
Ah,
I got the Chris Albert song.
Can I leave
boy,
with
here
them?
we go.
No, I gotta play the Chris Albert song. I can't go another week without playing something about Chris Albert.
okay. Well, Barb
You're
and
not
Mizzy,
going anywhere. Well,
Is this the
I can't.
it's
is this the first
sequel.
time anybody's ever heard it, or have you already played
Well,
it?
no, I mean I posted it last week, but
Okay.
yeah, it'll be the first time on here. Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
want to play it on Sandra's live stream?
No, at the end. No, we're gonna say goodbye to them.
Oh,
That's how we're gonna close,
fine,
so.
fine. You know, I just wanted to play it, but that's
John,
okay.
we would really like Barb and Mizzy to come back again.
Yeah, right.
There's nothing bad in his song.
Do not go back to
Save us, Barb. Save
And
us.
before the song, though, I would
Bob,
like
I'm
to
not even
say-
going to tell you what Mizzy said about the fact that you didn't even know who we were.
what? I knew.
Hey, listen, John,
was
this is how
fairly
John
familiar.
is.
I didn't say
Maybe I
she
was
didn't know who you
sitting
were, but I had to say what show it was. And I said, I've been on there a few times, and she asked me about,
And Mizzy, it's always a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, and I told her how I always enjoy coming to talk to you guys because it's a little
That's what she
it's a
did.
little more chill.
Yeah.
You kind of you laugh more because I have a sense. People don't realize that I have a sense of humor because
Yes,
I'm
you do.
always like so like
Muted him.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I own it.
Oh my god.
This is why you don't give me powers. All right, I'll mute you.
No. This is
Hey,
exactly
how about
why
they
you
can-
have
how about
the
this?
powers.
Let's split the difference. They can stay and watch
Oh my god.
And
the song with us.
Before John gets to the next portion of our show, I just wanted to say how thankful I am that you came onto the show.
Oh,
And
you're welcome.
It was very nice to meet you.
Well, maybe they want to stay and
Me too.
watch
Thank
with
you
us.
so much. Yeah.
Maybe they want
great.
to watch it's only a minute and a half long. 2 minutes. I think it's a 2-minute song.
He's
Do you
not
wanna
going to
watch
let
the
this
song with us?
go. He's not going to let it go. I
No,
can
he's not going to let it
tell you
go.
right now.
We
They
can
can stay.
specify him in the green
I've
room
learned a few
later.
things in my day. I'll tell you this. Don't even. Just,
You've seen the
Thanks,
show
Bob.
before, haven't you, Bob?
Thanks, Barb.
I watched about 10 seconds.
I used to
one
like
time.
you.
I did.
I like- I used to like her.
I'm too old. I don't care if anybody likes me or not
There
anymore.
you go. There you go.
Tell him.
Oh.
I'm telling them I care.
My friend Whitey and I say, F them all.
Yeah, that's it. You know.
It's not F though. It's a little bit further. But
All
there
right.
you go.
Fine. I won't play it. We'll end at
Not
boozes, man.
Listen,
Someday.
no. You were excited about this. Let's make it
I was.
happen.
All right. Okay. I'll pull it up. Give me 10 seconds.
He's like a little kid.
Oh, and now you're not ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Here we
I
go.
told you he wasn't going to let
I'm
it
ready.
go.
I
knew it.
No.
I was ready
To be a question and answer format. There'll be no response to any public comment when presented.
Inches away from my door. I really need your help as a citizen of
Chair
Canton.
says no response, but I don't comply. Brenda speaks,
look at
I
this.
jump to reply.
Now, just a quick response to that.
Slander, lie, I shout on cue, but the tape I've got won't back it through. Got a VHS of truth, but oops, I bought the wrong reel. My story's more revised than a police report seal. Quick response through you, Mr. Chair.
Through you, Mr. Chair.
Disinformation's everywhere.
Once again, disinformation.
I'll waive my proof and lose the
Those gentlemen were
real. Rewrite the script and call it real.
Directly in front of my store.
Disinformation, that's my
Disinformation.
brand. Point the finger.
He loves that
take
word.
a stand. Got some footage, not the right. Spice it up, then fight all night. They were inches from my door, except the lens says other store. Logic's useless, facts don't
I want
track.
Mr. Albert to resign from this board. Let's just
I'll
look.
cut, remix, then play it back. Quick response through you, Mr. Chair.
Now, just a quick response to that. Through you, Mr. Chair.
Rules don't matter when I'm there. Chris Albert's law, it bends, it breaks. Absorb, distort, repeat
Brenda Sweeney
mistakes.
Canton, in my opinion. They're inches away from my door. I really need your help as a citizen of Canton. His desperate cry for help, and yet the body camera footage of that event.
If facts won't fit, I'll
Eric?
raise my tone.
Meeting is an
Gaslight the
opportunity
room
to
and
listen to
claim
residents'
it's
feedback and concerns. However, it is not meant to be a question and answer.
And yet the body camera footage of that event paints the true picture. Eric and Richie leisurely talking to each other in front of C.F. McCarthy's, several yards up the street, standing peacefully holding signs that said, "I love Canton" and "Chris Albert resigns." That was hardly the scenario you were trying to convey with your desperate cry for help as a citizen of Canton, wasn't it, Mr. Albert? In Aesop's fables, the boy who cried wolf didn't have a name. We know our town crier's name, and he sits right up there on that board.
Walked away when the policeman. I'm not going to sit here and listen to slanders and lies.
We all saw
much
the
longer.
videotape.
You'll see the truth. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I think we saw the truth.
Yeah. And once again, just like in Sandra's case, Canton officer, one of his first statements said they were right in front of his store. And he had months to and they did edit they edited their report.
John, that was all a clerical error.
Yeah. Well, he edited the report, but he never edited out the fact that they weren't in front of his place when he pulled up. We saw when he pulled up that you guys were not. Eric, you weren't there. You were yards away.
Oh yeah,
And that's where we're at. That's where we're at. We trust these people. Once again, we said that earlier.
Yeah.
We trust these police. And when we finally see through the cameras, and thanks Chris because he sent cameras, that what they're putting down on their reports is a lie.
Well, it what they put down in the report met the narrative that they wanted to have said, or painted that picture.
They're painting the picture. Yep.
Right.
Just like in Sandra's case, they painted a picture. Right? They
sure
slanted it. Yeah, they slanted it the way they wanted it.
Yep.
So see, there was a tie-in there, Booze. Just saying.
It was a bit of a stretch. I mean, it was Canton. We'll take
It's
it.
still Canton.
Well,
Still
you gotta
Canton.
admit, it's a pretty cool song, though.
Oh my gosh.
I I really enjoy just Brenda Sweeney, and I love that she's just
Brenda's the best.
completely clapping back at Chris Albert. So you know what?
Weekly,
We'll have it.
or every other week, I should say.
Right.
At least a couple of times a month.
Yeah, wait till next week. All right, Barb. Boozy's going to say goodbye to all of us, but don't go anywhere. Don't do anything to your
Okay.
computer. Just like I said, go in the green room.
I'm just gonna sit here.
All right,
I'm
go ahead.
just
Boo.
gonna sit here.
That's it. Just me and my turtle.
She's like, I won't touch anything ever again. Oh
No.
Oh, is it only me now? Oh wow.
No, just
great.
no,
Oh,
it's still
God,
there.
now we're back again. Oh, jeez, Louise. So, I just want to say, Barb and Mizzy, thank you so much. Barb, I'm just going to keep, fluffing your ego. You did so amazing. It is not easy being on an interview like that, but you know what? You deserve all the props for going on a national television and doing what you did. I want to thank all of your family members, give them all the hugs and all the kisses, all the girls, because it's all girls that are sticking up for Sandra. And it is so empowering that women are sticking up for women. And we need more of that around here.
Yes, we do.
And of
Thank you
course,
so much.
Mizzy, I love you to death. For those of you who aren't on justiceforsandrabirchmore.com, that has all the documents, any questions, the Facebook group, her Twitter, her YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all the things. Mizzy, what is your YouTube channel again?
A Mixed Girl in a Mixed Up World, and I do shows on Monday nights at 6:30.
Beautiful. And of course, you'll be keeping us most up to date on anything Sandra Birchmore.
Yes.
Love you, girls. Thank you for so much. And thank you all, everyone, for being here and dealing with the cronkness of it all, per usual. I hope you all enjoyed, and we will see you next week.
Eric, this is where we get to say goodbye.
Have a good night, everyone.
Don't break your